Pause. I'm Laniki, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, and General Hospital edition. All right, let's just jump into the Young and the Restless. I'm not gonna even lie to you. This was more like a skimming of the soap today. So I did see like Danny, Cricket, all that. They're gonna get together and have it happen ever after. I don't know if they're gonna stay on the show or not. Mariah, Tessa, Daniel. Clearly, they want Daniel with Tessa. Danny with Tessa. Okay, it is what it is. I didn't see what was wrong with having Mariah and Tessa together, but they want to blow up this cute little couple, even though they was a little bit boring to me. But we'll see what happens there. Who else was on there? Listen, Victoria was on there with Claire. They're trying to make it through, with Cole being gone. Nate came over. I said, are they trying to put Victoria with Nate again? Because, with these soaps, anytime you see anything, you just don't know because they have been pushing Kyle towards Audra, it looks like. So you just never know what's going to go down. But anyways, y'all, that was pretty much the Young and the Restless today. I'm not gonna hold you long because I'm not gonna sit here and they are not my favorite storylines. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're not my favorite storylines. So which is probably why they only show them like they'll break it up with them being in France for one episode, maybe 2 episodes out of the week, but the heavy hitters are all pretty much over there in France. Woo, child, let's go to the Bold and the Beautiful. Okay, so we pick up where we left off, which is Lee still talking to Finn about Luna and how she thinks that this is all Poppy's fault. This has nothing to do with Finn. And she says, nah, she doesn't excuse Luna for the stuff she did, but she feels like that if Poppy had had some guidance, she would have turned out way better than what she is. And maybe she wouldn't have been, the person that she is now, which harms people. But anyways, Lee gets a beep, and so she ends up having to leave. So Finn starts to listen to his messages, and He's listening to his messages from Sheila, and he rolls his eyes on when Sheila says, "I know, Steffi has you not responding." He like, "Girl, please, it's my choice." But then he listens to the message where one of the last messages Sheila sent, where she says, "Listen, I am concerned about you and Steffi. Luna is going off the deep end." She didn't say all that, but that's what I heard. Luna is going off the deep end, and you need to watch your back. And so, the child, this episode was good today. Now, so he's concerned, right? So in the middle of after he gets done listening, he receives a phone call from Liam, and he tells Liam about Sheila calling and that Sheila was concerned about Luna, and he was like, Steffi was supposed to meet the teacher, but he hasn't heard anything back. So he told Finn, I'm right here, so I'm just gonna go and check on Steffi, with this teacher. And Finn was like, okay, cool, but I'm gonna come on anyways, and if something goes down, you hit me up and let me know. And Liam was like, yeah, okay, cool. So then we see Hope and Carter. Liam was on the phone earlier with Hope. It's the same old thing. She crying. She crying because she gonna be missing Liam whenever he passes on or whatever. And then Carter comes in and he gives her comfort. I'm not gonna go over that too much because it is what it is. All they are there to do is I don't know why Bold and the Beautiful does this. I don't know if I'm annoyed by it or I'm just like, this is a wasted scene. Like, you really could be having another storyline going, because I hate when they do that where the storyline that other people have on the show. Hold on. Let me get her. The storyline that's everyone has on the show that day is about the action that's going to go down. So like when Sheila pow powed on Steffi. Remember years ago, a few years ago when Sheila pow powed Steffi, Taylor and Ridge were talking and they were just talking about how strong Steffi was. That's what their whole thing was on that episode while Steffi was over there getting pow powed. And now today it's just Hope and Carter talking about how strong Liam is and how they're gonna miss him, but he's gonna keep fighting and all that while he's over here dealing with crazy Luna. I don't like when they do that, but I guess because I feel like you could actually have another storyline going where with completely different characters, not related to Steffi and all them. So it's broken up because this is just you putting these people on the soap for the day. That's just my opinion, no, 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 no. But anyways, let's move right along. So then we see that we get to the beach house, and Luna is still talking. Luna is wrestling with the pow pow with Sheila, right? Because Sheila is trying to tell her, no, Luna, don't do this. So the gun goes off. Child, she done got shot in the foot. I said, baby, what? So she gets shot in the foot or whatever, and Sheila is down on the floor, on the ground, and she's sweating because she done got shot. And Steffi was like, you shot your grandmother. And she said, I didn't mean to do it. She was like, it's your fault, Steffi. I said, girl, you're not about to blame everything on Steffi. Now, she's not one of my favorite people either. But shit, Steffi didn't have anything with you shooting Sheila. You did that on your own because you wouldn't let the gun go or whatever. And so Sheila said, Luna, like, no, Steffi was reaching in her purse trying to call for help. And Luna says no. And Luna told Sheila, look, grandma, you just got shot in the foot. You'll be all right. I said, what? She said, you got shot in the foot. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. You good. That ain't gonna hurt too bad. That's superficial. I'm like, girl, there's a lot of bones in the foot. But anyway, so Sheila on the floor, and Steffi's trying to call the police, and Luna won't let her. And she said, well, at least let me wrap it. And Steffi said, no, Luna told Steffi, I don't trust you. And she looked at Sheila, I don't trust you either, or whatnot. She said, because she told Sheila, you gave up. I'm not giving up on my dad. Steffi is in the way, and I'm finna take her out. So then they going back and forth, and Liam comes in, and he busts in, and he sees what's going on, and he lunges towards Luna, and she says, let me go, and then the gun goes off, child. And of course Liam gets pop out. And so he stumbles back, and then they go to commercial break. Child, when we come back from commercial break, Steffi is over there with Liam. I said, you let her walk over there to Liam? If I was Steffi, I would have kept running out the door. But I said, so you let her crawl over there to Liam. Sheila over there shot, and they're trying to tell Luna, it's over now. It's over. Let it go. Like, even if you wanted a relationship with Finn, you can't have one. And it starts to click with Luna that she can't have one. And so she really wants to take Steffi out now, right? And so Liam looks at Sheila. Sheila looks at Liam, and she grabs, because the teacher had like this tray full of like little knickknacks, such as, like threading, because they make arts and crafts and things. And so Sheila dropped the tray and distracted Luna, so she turns back to Sheila, because it's Steffi and Liam at the door, Luna in the middle, and Sheila is behind Luna. So when she drops the tray, Luna turns around, and when she turns around, Liam musters up the rest of his strength, and he grabs the gun from Luna. And she said, what you gonna do? I said, look, I like Luna. I hate that she about to leave the show. Y'all did this character wrong. I hope she turns out to be a Sheila where she come on back. But so she said, what you gonna do? You can barely stand up. You're weak. You're not strong. You can't shoot me. You could barely stand up. You about to pass out and go anyways. And he said, you right, I'm dying anyways. And so he shot her. He shot her. And so she lying on the ground, and then Finn busts in at this point, and he said, what? And she said, Liam needs help, Steffi's telling him. And he was like, did Sheila? And Sheila looking like, no, I did not. And she said, no, it was Luna. And Finn for a minute looked like he wanted to go to Luna, he wanted to go to Sheila. And then Sheila told him, I'm fine. Check on Liam. And I said, Sheila is a nurse, so she really should have been over there with Liam over Steffi. So that's how it ended, y'all. On a Tuesday. They let it all go down on a Tuesday. I said, "Oh, Friday episode must gonna be really good if this is all going down on a Tuesday." But that's the bold and the beautiful, y'all. Let's move right along, because baby, we got to talk about General Hospital. Listen, listen. General Hospital is doing some things, and I have thoughts. First of all, let's get a few people out the way that I don't care about. I like me some Portia and Elizabeth. Well, actually, they both get on my nerves a little bit, but I mean, they cool. But they're not talking about nothing. Portia is out here on 4th of July with Elizabeth, and Elizabeth said, "I thought you was gonna be with your man. Her man don't want to be with her." So she out here on 4th of July with Elizabeth, and then here come Rick showing up. Baby, Rick said he had tickets to something that Elizabeth actually wanted to go to, and she said so. But before he could do, really even talk to her or anything, because he did invite her, but before she could give an answer, he got a call, and so he told Elizabeth he had to go, but he'll hit her up later, right? So she like, okay, cool. So then y'all listen. Elizabeth and Portia were talking, and she said, tonight is girls' night. It's not even about Rick. Because Portia was like, I can't believe whatever he got going on must be important for him to leave you. And she said, it's girls' night. It's not about Rick. And Portia said, good, because I need it. Sis, just because you ain't got a man or your man don't want you doesn't mean that you should be holding up your friend for getting a man. Well, Elizabeth says she don't want Rick, but we all know where this is going. At least we believe where it's going. But anyways, that's pretty much it with them, y'all. Let's just talk about their everything that's going on with them catching up with each other. So then we see that who else we see? Oh, let me get these people out the way. We see Sidwell and Marco. So he's still over there talking to his daddy, upset because Sonny pretty much he feels like got away with killing his mama. I said, sir, you're gonna be real upset when you find out it was your daddy who did this, because I don't believe for 1 second that Sonny had anything to do with Natalia being dead. That don't have Sonny written over it. He wanted that girl gone, even though she got a little bit crazy at the end. I said, why y'all got her talking like this? Because now one time that I heard Sonny tell her he was going to go with her off to, what is it, where was he sending her? Belize? I don't know, child, but wherever he was sending her, not one time did Sonny tell her he was coming with her. And so why would y'all made it seem like this woman believed that? I don't believe that for a second. Anyways, Michael and Sidwell just gonna try to get back at Sonny. So that's it with him. So then we see Rick. The phone call he got was Ava clearing out the account, because they got Alexis stealing money for them from the Cassadines or whatever. So Ava using all the money up, and Rick said, "Listen, people gonna know what's going on with you if you keep on using the money using the money up, spending it. You're not supposed to have this type of money." Ava is that person that you rob a bank with, and she gonna get you caught, because she not you say, listen, everybody still live the way we all supposed to live. Don't buy any big purchases, don't do anything suspicious or whatever. And Ava will tell you okay, but the whole time here she go riding around in a new Ferrari or something. You know what I mean? She the person that's gonna get you caught. Hey, mama. Mm-mm. So, anyways, he go over there telling her not to spend all this money, and she said, "Listen, I don't want to hear nothing from you, because I already know that if you over there with Elizabeth." So I said, "Ava, do you gotta blame him for Willow losing her children, in the custody battle?" Because she like he wasn't focused on the case. He was over there with Elizabeth dropping her off something. And I think he said some juice or something. It don't matter. And Ava said, "Are you acting like you're a little bit jealous?" But she said, "Rick is fun." But anyways, they agreed to just stop spending the money and continue to blackmail Alexis and move on. But then Cody shows up, right? And so when Cody shows up, he's him and Ava start talking and everything, and they're working. And then Cody, 1 minute they're talking, the next minute Cody is kissing Ava. I said, too soon, brothers, too soon. But Ava kind of likes Cody. It don't matter. So then we see that before Rick had got there, Ava had been with Nina, and that's who she had told that she was concerned that Rick wasn't really focused on Willow's case. And Nina said, well, at this point, she's just trying to get Willow to not marry Drew. So she's trying to stall as long as possible. But she is excited that they get, hey, that they get to go wedding dress shopping because she always wanted to do that. So she's excited to have this mother-daughter relationship. She just don't want it with her daughter marrying Drew. But anyway, she has to leave because she got to meet Nina Willow at the Metro Court. So Nina ends up leaving, right? Child, let me tell you. That's it with Ava and all them. So then Rick goes over to Alexis' place. Now, what he doesn't know is that Alexis is with Christina. I don't know why y'all don't like this Christina. I like her. But that's just me. But she's over. Christina is with Alexis. They having like a movie night or something, and with everything that happened at Charlie's and Christina almost getting taken out of here, they're just happy to be there. And Christina feels bad about Alexis being blackmailed, but she feels like Cody working on all this will help. Then she says there's a connection with Cody and Molly, but I don't know if it's real or not. But anyways, Rick comes over because he was coming over to get some more money, but Christina is there, and so he's like, oh, I was checking on Molly. And so he ends up leaving, and Christina was like, it's good that he doesn't know. And Alexa said, I thought you was gonna blurt it out. She said, nope, my goal is to get them to stop blackmailing her mama or whatever. And it is what it is. That's enough of that storyline. You know what? I like General Hospital. I always tell y'all that I like General Hospital, but General Hospital is a hard soap to watch sometimes because the storylines don't end. It's like, oh my gosh, like this Sidwell storyline. I said, oh my gosh, if we're still talking about this next year in July, I'm gonna lose my mind because it's one of those storylines that can go on, that can stretch, right? And so I'm like, oh gosh, it's one of those storylines that can keep going, and going, and I'm not looking forward to that. But anyways, child, let's move on. So what we talking about? So then we see, speaking of Molly, we see that she's at the police station with Felicia and Mac. And Mac pretty much throwing his son on Molly, like, come on, let's have a double date. My son is a good man. I said, Mac, you trying to tie that woman down with your son. And Felicia says, sir, what are you doing? He said, well, I think hold on. He said, I think Cody needs somebody like with stability like Molly. He wants Cody with somebody like Molly. I said, well, he over there messing with Ava and might end up falling for Ava. And then if Britt really coming back, her and Cody had got close, but Jason wasn't there then. I don't know, child. I don't know how this is going to play out. But I'm going to be watching it. Hopefully it don't take too long, though. Anyways, let's move on. That's in with them. Who else we talking about? So we see that, okay, remember yesterday that Lulu had came over and slapped the devil out of Brooklyn. Well, I said, Brooklyn, you ain't even try to hit her back, baby. Y'all better than me, because y'all just be taking licks and stuff. Y'all just be taking these hits. Y'all better than me. But anyways, so Lulu starts going off on Brooklyn, talking about, you hurt my son Rocco on purpose. Hold on. Okay, my bad, y'all. So they just be taking slaps from each other. But anyways, Lulu comes over to Brooklyn, and they start going back and forth about who right, who wrong. And Brooklyn says, Lulu, you're such a hypocrite. I did what I did. I'm sorry he found out, but this is public record. You just didn't tell the little boy, because everybody know he was bound to find out at some point. She said, what mine was sealed. Nobody was supposed to know, and you went digging and found it or whatever. Lulu didn't take any responsibility. So here comes Gio. And here goes Lulu throwing Brooklyn under the bus. Your mom did it. Your mom exposed the truth. She hurt your brother Rocco. And I said, see, this is why I can't stand your little lying self. Brooklyn did not tell Rocco. Brooklyn never meant for Rocco to find out the same way you didn't mean. Well, yeah, you was gonna tell. You was gonna tell. But it's the same exact thing. But Brooklyn is not all over Rocco telling him your mom didn't tell you about you, how you really came to be. She not doing that, but you stay in Gio's face having negative things to say. Y'all begged for them to bring Lulu back. I blame y'all. I blame you guys because you begged for this girl to come back, and now look what we got. I cannot stand Lulu. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I see her on the screen, I'm gonna have to start fast forwarding. I'm gonna have to fast forward through it. I can't stand this girl. Anyways, child. So Gio and Brooklyn talk, and she trying to explain her side of the story. She don't want to hear nothing Brooklyn have to say. He really didn't even come over there for Brooklyn, but he talking about staying away from you is a good thing. I won't make this mistake again. What mistake? You didn't come over here to talk to her anyways. Listen, I feel bad for Gio. I do. I hate the way he found out that he was given up for adoption and everything. But Brooklyn was young and she didn't know who he was. So she didn't know all this. Be in your feelings or whatever, young man. I understand it, but go on with your little attitude. I can't deal, but I understand why you upset and would be in your feelings. But I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. Like at some point, be nice to somebody. Be nice to somebody at some point. But anyways, let's move on, child. So then, Jill was over there to talk to Michael, anyways, not Brooklyn. So then we go over here because that's the end with them. Let me delete that little note. So then we go over here and we see that Rocco is talking to Jason. So when Rocco and Jason are talking, he's asking him about Britt because he said, "My mom and them hate her," and he said, "But I could understand that." He was like, "But I want to speak to someone," because he was like, "I'm getting mixed signals because she saved Jocelyn's life. So who was Britt? Who was she?" And so Jason said, "I could only tell you my interactions with her." So Jason and Britt had a great relationship or whatever. So that's what he presents to him, the Britt that he knew. And Rocco completely understands that or whatever. And so then when Jason is done talking to him, right, he leaves and Lulu comes up and she was like, "Jason, what are you doing here?" And he was like, "Rocco called me over. He wanted to talk about Britt." And she was like, "Oh my gosh. And let me guess, you told him she was great or something like that." And he was like, "I told him the truth. The Brit I knew." And she was like, because she can't stand Brittany. She was like, "You had no right to do that." And he said, "Rocco wanted to know, and he has the right to know. And so I'm going to give him the truth." And Jason left. He ain't finna go back and forth with you like Brooklyn them do. He said, "I said what I said, and I'm gone." And so that was pretty much it with them. Um, Let me delete this. And so then we go to Sasha. So Daisy is missing, right? And so she runs to Michael and she says, "Michael, because Sasha's looking all over." And she says, "Daisy is missing." And so when Michael sees that Daisy is missing, they start looking around. So then Ned and Olivia come in when Michael said, "We're going to call the police." And they say, "Police for what?" And Sasha's like, "Daisy is missing." And Olivia's like, "Don't worry about it. We'll find her," or whatever. And so the police come over. They're trying to give their story, their testimony, and everything. And the next thing you know, Olivia goes into the area that the sitting area that they're all in, and she says, "Here's the baby. Here's Daisy." And Sasha said, "Now this is the first dang place I looked." And so she's sitting there hugging on Sasha because Chance is there with her. He was trying to take her statement. And Olivia goes out to Michael and she says, "You got to be careful with Sasha. She's going through a lot." I said, "Olivia, don't give this opinion. Y'all do not make Sasha seem like she is crazy. She's not crazy. Stuff have been happening with that baby. But they putting the seed in Michael's head that something might be wrong with Sasha, right?" So then the next thing we know, Sasha is telling Chance, and then is his name Chance? Because I be getting Young and the Restless boy. What's his name? Is his name Chance? I think his name Chance. I don't know. Brooklyn man. His name Chance, right? Because I be getting him and the dude from Young and the Restless, the detective, confused. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if that's his name. Yeah, I got it confused. His name is Chase, y'all. She be getting him, them confused, right? So Chase is taking her story and she's telling him, she said, you know, somebody turned on the motor, the little, you know how it plays the little music. Somebody turned that on. Somebody changed her and faced her the opposite way. I checked this room. I said, now, if that baby was in that room, why? And first of all, fire the night nurse. Because where were you? Just being honest. Where was the night nurse? Sasha had the baby monitor or whatever. But if the night nurse is not going to be in the room with the baby, what's she doing? Because, ma'am, I'm not paying you to sleep and then wake up when the baby, I need you to be in the room with my child monitoring. And second of all, where are the cameras? Y'all had a camera in the nursery when you found Drew and Willow on the floor. Where are the cameras now? Like, knock it off. Knock it off, please. But, anyways, I said, how long is this storyline gonna go? Why can't y'all leave Sasha alone? But so now Chase and all and Michael and everybody is being thinking that maybe Sasha is losing her mind. She has been through a lot. She's going through postpartum. I said, baby, no, this woman is telling y'all the truth. Believe her. Michael, believe her. Somebody, but like y'all looked all over and around this house for that baby. You knew the baby was in the nursery because she had told you that's where the baby was. And now all of a sudden y'all think the baby was just downstairs. Like, okay. All right. Let's move on. All right. All right. I can't even do it no more anymore. Let's move on. So then what's the next phase on this? Um so then, child, Nina had went up to Elizabeth and um Portia, and she had asked them, "Have y'all seen Willow?" And they said, we haven't seen Willow here, right?" Willow said she was late because when she finally shows up, she said, "Oh, I was late because of traffic." And Nina said, "Girl, there wasn't no traffic." And she said, "Well, I was on the phone with Drew and I just got so distracted. And it's just so embarrassing to be this distracted by him." She acting like she just so loopy and so sweet and innocent. And then they show Willow's memory when she talking to baby Daisy. And she said, your mama betrayed me, and Michael won't let me see my kids. So they gonna know what it feels like. I said, this bit. Oh, sorry, y'all. I said, this girl is crazy. Y'all done draw Willow to be. Lord have mercy. And that was it, y'all. That's how that's how General Hospital went off today. Willow is messing with that baby, but we all knew she was the one that was messing with that baby. We knew it because somebody said in the comments that they thought it was Willow because they said, remember, she was at one point she was just sitting there in the chair when she was at the hospital. Remember, she had a breakdown, and then the next minute the baby goes missing, and when you see Willow again, she's laying in the bed. I said, she's the messing with this baby. But they got, like, y'all got all this security footage and all that. Somebody gotta be able to see Willow is doing this. But she is. Ain't no telling how long she gonna do this. And where they plan on going with this storyline? Are they gonna say she having a mental break? Because the way she did that, Will seems sane to me. She knows exactly what. Stop that. She knows exactly what she's doing. But anyways, dog, that's neither here nor there. That was the Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, and General Hospital for today. I will see you guys tomorrow.